All right, Jim, if you could please stop eating and sit down and take a break. I want the camera on you. This is the smallest turnout I've seen, but I'm happy everyone's here. Thank you very much. I'm Phil Savarese, Carol Uffa, Ron Sosnick. We represent Condo One for you. We try to fight and do everything we can to make things work for you. We have a small agenda which we're going to go by. We'll jump back and forth on answering any questions you have. We do have some questions already by Marvin and Rhea. So we'll answer those also. And where is he? Harold gave a couple questions that we're going to try to answer. We're going to start off with, we welcomed everybody, Clubhouse. I'm sure everybody saw that the decorating committee has awarded it to Classic Galleries of Huntington. I think that's a good thing. It can't be bad. This has to be done. It looks like a torture chamber here. They were the originals that put it in this place.
They were the original decorators.
Suite buildings, they didn't give us an answer yet, but only 3 buildings are being done. We have enough money to do 9. I don't know why we're not. We brought it up to them. We had to fight just to get 3 done. We have over $4 million there. They don't want to spend it foolishly, supposedly, but the buildings need it. They're 15 to 16 years old. So if at the rate they're going to go, we have 37 buildings. It takes 13 years to finish it, which will be, I don't think, a lot of people won't be around. So anyway, that's that on the suites. Not as of yet. They will show us before they put it down in any Condo One buildings. I won't let them put it down until we see it. One second. You could answer the question over the mic. We have people listening and everything, David.
I don't think that they're going to give you 3 choices. I think it's going to be what is selected, which has been done, by the way. I have seen it. I think it's going to be beautiful. They're just waiting to make a decision on who's going to get the job. No, we're going to go back.
Are you talking for the suites or the clubhouse? Oh, okay. It's painting, wallpaper, updated, and carpeting. They're not changing the sconces.
You have to talk into the mic because of...
They're not changing the hardware or the sconces. It's going to stay with the brass. It would have raised the price beyond what the budget would give us.
Next item is we put together, I think I jumped off your schedule, Carol, but we put together a schedule of yearly maintenance done in this complex for the whole complex. Everybody says, oh, we never know when anybody is doing anything. We have this is the maintenance committee that put this together with the management inside. Jim was part of it, Jim Hyman, myself, Roger Foley, and we have over 100 items on here that everybody will receive by email. If you don't have email, you'll get one at your door. Just let me know. I'm in the book. This just for instance, garage cleaning. It's done in the spring, biannually, so therefore it'll be done a couple times. That's just one item. It is color-coded. You may see it color-coded. I can't promise that by email, but more than likely, you'll be informed of everything going on in this place. Don't hold them to a date, all right? If they say they're doing it in the spring, if they do it one day after the spring, please. They have a lot of work. This is just 100 and change items that we found. Insurance, big thing here. Thank God we had no losses this past year. Going into the year, we still have no losses. I get a report daily, monthly, I'm sorry, not daily, monthly, on if there are any. Our insurance for Condo 1, we pay $124,000, plus a supplement umbrella policy, another $5,000. And that goes to 144 residents that are here. We went up 4.90%, which,
Can I just explain something?
yeah,
Just to explain, each condo has to have insurance for their building. We vote on it separately, it's separate. We try to do it together so it gets a little cheaper, but we can't always do that. If you have a leak, if you, let's say, let your kitchen sink run over, and it goes into another, your neighbor's apartment downstairs, this is what pays for that, and for the refurnishing,
correct.
not their insurance. And we can't then sue the person who is responsible. That's a New York State law. So please be careful with, that's why we keep pushing the water, what do you call it? Water meters,
Heaters,
no, water meters.
Okay.
Meters, so that if you have a small leak, it won't turn into a large leak. But we are responsible as the condo to ensure that. People are confused, sometimes confused.
we also, a broker, Borg and Borg, does the insurance for us. No matter, there are tons of brokers out there. We called a few of them. They all deal with the same companies. No company will take on this whole place. It's $500 million to cover us. If, God forbid, something happens to everyone, they're broke. They're out of business. So we went to Sterling Risk, another broker, and I said, well, what could you do different for us? He said, well, I could bring in Dung Bu. I says, we deal with them. I could bring in CAU. I says, we deal with them. I says, don't you have anybody new? Philadelphia. I says, we deal with them. Those are the big three that deal. Everybody has the same, what are they going to do? Save you $50 to switch? It's not worth it. But we're going to keep on trying. We went to a trade show, Carol, myself, and Ron, and we saw another 5 different brokers, no major insurance companies, but they still only use 3. If I talk any louder, they'll all leave. Okay. Okay. How's that? Okay. We'll talk about pickleball. Someone asked us about pickleball. I believe pickleball should be here. It shouldn't be by Condo 1 at all, or it belongs with the rest of the sports. My opinion only, you know. I don't know how you all feel. It is a little noisy, but if you put it, screen it in, you know, fence it in, and you not only fence it in, but you put up these barriers that, you know, it bounces off it and it comes back. It's not that loud, but they don't believe it. So I do want pickleball. Do I want it for $80,000? No. I don't. They have to get 3 bids. So if that's the price, we can't argue with the price. And that's it on pickleball. Any questions on pickleball or anything? Yes, Harold. Correct. I looked into an overlay of one of the tennis courts, and they decided they didn't want to go with that. It would have cost us maybe $35,000, $40,000.
Wait, you can't. People at home are not hearing you.
I'll try a different speaker, or,
Not you. It's him. You have to talk into the mic for the people to hear you, and I'm getting the texts.
Could you please tell me who they is that didn't want it?
it turned out that, number one, they need 2 tennis courts, they say, because they have a lot of people playing, and they thought that it's the best interest to accommodate pickleball players and tennis players, which I could understand also. So, Harold, why don't you just tuck that in your pocket and hold
One
it for
thing,
later?
My observation as far as the tennis goes is that after like 9 o'clock, there's no one there. And this is from people who live there. And also, I hope they realize that pickleball is a faster game and more injuries are going to come. But
Well,
that's-
number
that's-
one,
That's okay.
If you don't see somebody there, it might be in the heat of the day, but we're gonna have a little response to you, Harold. Your name?
Emily Weinstein, you are incorrect. I am a tennis player, and I play every Monday from 8:30 to 10. Okay, and I can tell you that to get a tennis court this year, it has been very competitive, and we haven't gotten tennis courts at times that are suitable for us. After 12 o'clock, yeah, it's pretty quiet over there. It's the middle of the day. People have other things to do. Life goes on. But the mornings, most mornings, are very packed. If the weather is bad, yes. If it's wet, I don't play the courts. I'm not going to fall and break my wrist again. Today, people didn't play because it was kind of windy. But they are busy in peak season.
Great, thank you very much, Emily, for your response. Okay. Everybody saw Carol and Ron and myself, we put together condo chat. Carol's going to talk about condo chatter.
I'm the one who sent it out. So if
Let
you
them-
have any comments or,
Like
I know how to do this. Pat, anything else you want me to tell them? That was my first attempt at it. I thought I got everything in. Hopefully I did. If you have any comments, you just have to email me, and I'll include it in the next one. Hopefully it'll be out every month. It comes out after the Board of Managers and the Board of Directors meet. It pertains to our condo. I tried to give you as much information as I could. I may have missed some, but just let me know if you have any comments, complaints, or compliments. Thank you. My email is thenanny8@gmail.com.
Good, you could talk about the next topic also, since you're getting Here you go, Carol.
What am I talking about?
Let's bring up, the lack of interest from Condo One on the bylaws, and
It's not just the Condo One.
it's the whole place.
People complain about they don't know anything that's going on. Take a look around. I don't know how many people are on thing, but they constantly talk how apathetic we are and how we don't care. And it's not that we don't care. So the more you show up to these meetings, or the more you Zoom it, the more we can let the board know that we do care what goes on here. But it's up to us to show it to them. That's the only way that, nobody runs for the board seats, nobody, and it's because we're old and we're apathetic and we don't care, and half the community goes to Florida, but I don't go to Florida. I know there are plenty of people here who don't go to Florida. Most of the people sitting here don't go to Florida. So get your neighbors to at least Zoom in so they know. I think we can tell how many people are Zooming. I'm not sure, but we will look at it. Otherwise, we say, why do we have these meetings? And why does the board, we're asking them to have, I think it's 2 meetings a year, Jim? 4 meetings a year. You got to show up one way or the other. You've got to let them know how you feel. And not on the blog.
And we have 20% of the vote in the whole community, because we have 144 residents. So we have something to say. Let's get together and say it. Our voice will be heard, you know. If you want to vote, that's the way to do it. And you want something done, you have to get out there and say what you want. The elections. I'm even afraid to bring that up. If my wife gets another proxy in the mail, I think she's going to shoot the mailman, number one. This whole year was a horror with the elections, the bylaws. No one knew what to do, how to fill them out. A lot of people do, but the majority were an older community in Condo 1. We're there 16 years. I mean, I came here when I was 60 years old. You know, I was running around
That's
this
the
place.
buildings are the oldest, not us.
Yes. There you go. My second wife over here. Yeah. Anyway, that's it on that. What else, Carol? Oh, the vote. You're actually, the board is looking into following this elections for next year, voting online. And I'm sure that'll go through. Am I right, Jim? Or, oh, you might. Yes. And, wait.
If you're going to talk, you're talking here.
Yeah, they called the front desk, so.
I think online is great, but if people don't have emails and they don't go online, then we have to have a
Well, of
plan B.
course, you'll
for
have an
those
option.
people. Yeah.
Has to be an option. We will have 2 condo meetings each year. We're not going to post them at the beginning of the year because we don't know exactly. We're trying to get when everyone is here, you know, the Floridians and the people that stay here. So you will have 2 meetings. That's one of Marvin's questions. Marvin also asked us, do you issue minutes of all your Condo 1 meetings? The answer was no. The answer going forward is yes.
They're really minutes with commentary,
Yes.
not
Yep.
just what we discussed.
I answered his pickleball. I gave him my position on it. He also asked, how do you develop the budget for Condo 1? We don't. It's given to us along with all the other condos fairly, and we, every 3 months, it's certified that it is correct. Yes?
So Phil, I have a question. I understand about the Condo 1 meetings, but are you going to have a captain's meeting in Condo 1?
Captains is totally different, yes.
Okay.
We'll probably have those every couple months now.
Okay.
Captains' meetings will be held. I mean, the captains, if it wasn't for the captains, I have to tell you, if it wasn't for Corky in one, Ira, Hammer, and Rob, Rosen, all the captains, yourself, you know, every captain did their job on the bylaws, and we received 109, but the people, we didn't have 109. We had to pull out teeth to get it. So I thank all the captains. I mean, they do a wonderful job. And if you don't get response here when you send in a work order, if something's wrong in the building, copy me. Because I have a lot to say here. And I complain a lot. And I make sure it gets done. They don't want to hear me, the board. Believe me, they don't. What else, Carol?
We have on the agenda following community rules. I don't know if anybody has ridden around the community after yesterday or the day before when they put in these speed bumps that I don't know who measured or who what, but I know my car, and by the way, I even saw people going right through the stop sign in front of Building 7 with the two speed they're not speed bumps, they're mountains. I think they put the Alps here. I'm going to bring it up at the Board of Managers. Hopefully it'll go through to the Board of Directors, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
A lot of people do believe in it because it does slow people down and it makes you stop. A lot of people go around it, which causes another accident, which we don't want. I was coming east on Pacing, and there was a car that wanted to go around it. And he says, "Oh, move your car." I says, "I got to move my car? Back up and go over the bump."
But
And he did.
But
But-
if you remember, Phil, on, is it Trotting from the entrance to Building 3 and 4? Is that Trotting Lane? Right. We had objected to the height of the speed bump there, and they lowered it. Well, now it's worse than it was. And I don't think, it slows people down for a second. It does not make them stop, because I observed it today. Right through the one up near Building 7, and right through the turn on from Trotting on to Roosevelt. People don't stop. It slows them down for a second, and then they speed up. It's not, I don't see it.
Again, that's just a handful, so everybody knows. Not everybody does that. People do stop.
I don't agree with you.
So, okay.
I think
that's-
they roll.
That's why we have this. Alan, you have
That's
a
right.
question.
It's not a question, it's an observation. When would you be riding, coming out of our garage at Building 5, we have to make a left to go out either straight up or to the back entrance. Cars now, they see the speed bump, they're going around, and when they go around, it's a blind curve. We're coming around this way. It's only a matter of time, a blind person can see it, that is going to be an accident.
We'll take your observation to the Board of Managers. That's what our job is, and that's what we will do. You know, we'll bring it to them and see what they say, you know. Make it all the way across if you're going to do it. Well, it might be worse, but it's an answer. They won't be going on that side, and I'm answering his question. Anybody else have a question about that? Emily, I saw your hand start to go. Yeah, I got it.
It's very frustrating. Some people drive through the community at excessive speeds. I was walking into the community after walking outside one morning and almost got run over by a big SUV leaving here and easily coming through the auxiliary gate at about 40 miles an hour. Had I not gotten on the sidewalk, there would have been a problem. People are just not very considerate these days, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know that speed bumps are the answer, but people driving too fast is the problem.
Thank you. We know that, and we're trying to resolve it somehow, so that's why they're putting in the speed bumps.
Hi, my name is Arnie Eliza. What I was wondering was, would it be possible to put just little cameras that can detect speed, and then if somebody goes through, at a really excessive speed, they lose, let's say, the privilege of driving on the roads or whatever it takes. Unfortunately, wherever you drive nowadays, you're going to see people doing like 80 and 90 miles an hour.
Thank you, Arnie. I think that's an invasion of everybody's privacy. You know, I don't even like them on the corners here. I got a ticket. I only stopped 5 seconds. I didn't stop 10 seconds. So you could ask my wife. We looked at the tape, and you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I went. I got a ticket. You have to stop 10 seconds, it said. New York State. Yeah, okay, you could pay my ticket, thank you. You could represent me. Carol, anything else? Any other questions? Yes, Emily. Thank you.
Sorry for being so verbal. My question is, what are we doing about air conditioners? Did you discuss that earlier? I mean, we're in the oldest part of the community, 15, 16 years old. I see in one other area, they're starting to put new air conditioners in. Where do we stand with that? And do we do that as a whole condo area so that the cost may be slightly more reasonable?
What building are you in, Emily? As they're replacing them as they go. We've already replaced 6. I think building 5, it might get a new one. Now you're talking for the hallways and so forth. Of course, they will give you a choice to change your air conditioner when they go to put it up on top. When they go to put it on top, they run $50,000, $60,000 each one. They put building 19, building 20. I don't know the other 2 they put. 22 and 23. So as they go, we will replace them. And then you will absorb the cost of putting in and the crane coming. So, but we will give you notice. More than likely, it'll hold up, and hopefully, keep your fingers crossed.
But if that happens, if your air conditioner is going, my advice would be to speak to your building captain, and maybe they can let the other people know who may be thinking about it, and you could split the cost of that crane rather than doing it by yourself. But they're supposed to let the building know prior to putting the main air conditioner up on the roof. And as if any of you play mahjong or cards here, it is bad. One day it can be hot as you know what, and the next day you have to bring your fur coat. But don't bring your fur. It's not. Am I right? You never know.
Yes, I had something about the personal air conditioners. First of all, usually the first thing that goes is the coil in the hallway. And as far as the roof goes, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to replace the whole thing. A compressor can be brought up to the 3rd floor and up the walkway, and maybe Phil and the maintenance can look into if a boom, was it a boom truck? Whatever they use, like for the patios, if that could, I know it could reach the top of the building, if that could, need be, put a whole unit up on the top for an apartment. Where the rental isn't that much, the cost.
I do not know the answer to what you just said. I don't know if you're allowed to use that one little boomer to bring it up. Normally they bring in that big wheeler, and they will give you a week's notice anyway. So I'll check into it. I'll ask that question. Ani, you have a question?
Could you explain the difference between the air conditioning that's in the mechanical closet and the air conditioning that is on the roof, because I'm on the third floor in Building 5, and there was a lot of days in the summer where you'd go to the sauna to cool off. It was so hot on the third floor.
It was hot in the hallway?
Yes.
Then that has to be put in as a work order. Let Phil know. Well, then you may be on the list. I don't know who's on the
Yes.
list to be,
You're on the list to get a new air conditioner
you may
on the
be on the
roof.
list to get a new air conditioner. The other thing is, just for
It's-
some information, we are looking into, for the buildings, not your homes, it won't affect your home electrical bill, but we are looking into solar panels. It's under, a committee is looking into it, to putting solar panels on the roofs of the suite buildings for the central electrical and air conditioning. So it will affect our maintenance bills.
That doesn't affect your personal bill. It'll affect the bill where it's
Your
normally
maintenance.
about, common charge is usually around 12 to 1,400 in electric a month. So that
And-
starts to add up. You know, they could produce 52, I could give you numbers, but you won't know what they mean. So it depends how many kilowatt hours you can get, and you can only get 37,000 by it, so.
But they're looking into it right
Yes,
now.
and they're also looking into, on the third floor, putting in attic fan on each end. We don't know how noisy they will be. That's the key. We hired an architect to come in and look at it and tell us if it's feasible or not. So that will take the hot air out of the attic and
Right.
make the whole place
We're
cooler.
emptying the suite buildings.
Yes,
Takes all
suite
the hot
buildings,
air out.
Suite buildings.
And the other thing is, there's I've heard people say that the villas don't pay gas. They absolutely get a gas bill. I know, I've been in one. They get a gas bill, but it's individual. It's not, we pay our gas through our maintenance. But the villas do get a gas bill. They're not getting away with anything.
Do we have any other questions? I will. I want to make sure there's no other questions pertaining to what we're talking about first. Monday, we have an election, of course. I'm running. Thank you. I need 51%, which is 73 votes or proxies. A lot of people are confused with the proxies. They received another proxy that was for the HOA. Now they got another one. And it's just proxy after proxy after proxy. I have some proxies up here. If you want to fill it out, I would appreciate it. This is only for condo one, our condo. If you think we do a good job, back us, and we'll keep backing you. That's all we can do. If you do have a problem with anything, I've sat with people until 12:30 at night. I didn't want them to be by themselves when someone came in to clean out Roto-Rooter. I just didn't want them to be. I didn't even know the person. I knew they lived there, but that's all I knew. She was a single woman. I felt bad for her. My wife says, "Oh, good job. I'm going to bed." So, but she understands, and she's thoughtful about the same thing. So, really, if anybody needs anything, you have my number. I'm in the book, somewhere in there. So please, if you can, get your proxies in. Thank you for coming. Whoever came in on Zoom, I appreciate it. Brian, I hope you're feeling better. Good. Everyone, hold it. I got a question from Jim Hyman.
Just there's some new people here, and I think people are confused, and you kind of confused what you just said. The HOA vote is the blue envelope, pink envelope thing, those are absentee ballots. Or you come in person and you vote that night. For the proxies, people are confused as to, okay, I got this piece of paper, it says proxy on it, what am I supposed to do with it? Maybe you could explain that for some of the new people.
Okay, the proxy is for the condo one voting for Phil. A proxy says I'm giving my vote to somebody and they're going to vote for me. Hopefully they'll vote for who you want to be put in. The general election for the board of directors, you cannot do that. It's an absentee ballot where on that you put down who you vote for. It's very different. So the white one that Phil has here, or that you may have gotten in the mail, is for a proxy, which you're giving your vote to somebody to vote for you. An absentee ballot, you are doing the voting, but you're not coming in person. Very different.
Yes, Laurie?
So I know that there are a few people in the building. I had that experience with the last proxy we did. So is it advisable, to check with those individuals to see if they got the envelope and to get their proxy so that I know that I'm going to be attending the meeting, but I believe that the confusion is people get these envelopes, they don't even open them, they don't even know what to do with the piece of paper inside. So what are you recommending for the condo building?
That's, as you can see, that's why I brought 50 of them here. I figured we'd have more people here and people can just sign them here. If you're a building captain and you can get them, that would be wonderful. Remember, there was a holiday also, so everything backed up on all of us. I just have to bring up another thing. What we do once in a while is walk around to all the buildings. Ron Sosnick walked around and just to check to see what's happening in the buildings. He does his inspection like the building captains do. He found wreaths on the doors. That's a $50 fine, just so you know. Anybody that puts a wreath on the door is a $50 fine. It's a fire hazard, and we can get a $50 fine, especially if the commission is walking around there. Which I'll never understand, because my wife always puts up stuff. Well, what she did was, she went out and bought magnetic to put on the door, magnets, and even they say that's no good. Also, he looks for dead bushes, which we report. If the latches aren't working in the back, he also did that. Gloria, I'll be with you in 1 second. I hope everybody's door that you walk into your apartment closes automatically. If it doesn't, it takes about 2 minutes to fix. And it should. It's a fire hazard if it doesn't. A lot of people are getting also locked out of their apartments.
Yes.
If you walk out of your apartment and you're locked out, it's very easy to get in. Okay? So I won't go over that. That was a...
Can I just say something to
Sure.
that? Last Monday, I came home, and I could not get in. God bless Jim and Lori. They're next door to me. I thought it was I have a punch lock. I thought it was the battery. My neighbor engineer said to me it's not the battery because the lights were going, it's a 4-number punch. Green, 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 red. I could not get into my apartment. It was not the battery. I did not have a key. If you have a punch lock, carry that key. Although it wouldn't have worked because the handle was not connecting to the, what do you call that? To the bolt. $450 later, And 5 hours later, they had to force my door open. So make sure you check your battery, carry your key, the punch locks. It's only 5 years old. It didn't work. So check those things out every once in a while.
Good, helpful hints.
Well, Gloria, raise your hand.
You had a captain. I know, Tom, he doesn't want to do it anymore. He just told me, so we're looking. We're looking for anyone that wants to do it. So just give us a little time. Diane, you have a question? Make it short and sweet.
I'm not going to explain Carol's problem. The locks going into the building are not working in my building. The keys do not work. So sometimes I punch in the number, I have to go back to it, but my key doesn't work. So they really have to take care of that. I could spray WD-40 in there, maybe that would help. But a few people in my building say they can't use the building key.
Did anyone send in a work order? He knows about it? He'll get hell from me tomorrow that they didn't fix it. Because if it doesn't close, you're all at risk. I don't want that. Key should work. I'll take that up with him first thing tomorrow.
You know, if I can make a comment, I had the pleasure of going around to all the buildings to check out what's going on. First of all, a personal observation. If you're going to walk through the building, don't start in the basement and go up. Start on the top floor and walk down. Otherwise, it's very tiring. But one of my main purposes was to check to see the status of the doors. As was mentioned, you are not permitted to have these wreaths or anything on the door. Now, at Christmas time, you know, we don't necessarily look for it, but Christmas is a very limited amount of time. I can't tell you how many doors how many buildings I've gone to, whereas they still have that wreath on the door, and it's a fire hazard. Another very important issue that everyone has to be concerned about are your doors, your rear doors. I can't tell you in how many buildings the doors going down the rear staircase I could not open. God forbid there's a fire and you have to go out of the building through the rear staircase. A lot of those doors could not be opened. Now, I've reported all the doors that I found. Hopefully, they've all been taken care of. But once in a while, open up that rear door. Make sure it's working. Because remember, God forbid something happens in that building and there's a fire, you may have to go out that rear door. And if it doesn't open, you're in a lot of trouble. As I said, whichever ones did not open up to this point, I've had corrected. But I guess over time things happen, so you have to make a point of checking that door in the rear to make sure it gives you access to the rear staircase. And by the way, as far as the doors are concerned, as I said, if you have something on your door, when, you know, Christmas is over, the holiday is over, let's get them off through. But before you start putting them up, take everything off the door. It's a fire hazard.
Any other questions? Thank you all for coming. We'll see you at the next meeting, probably in April or May. But remember, we are here. If anybody needs anything, give either one of us a call, and one of us will respond. Safe getting home. Happy holidays.